Sean Robertson, and today we're going to be talking about Blackboard and how you can integrate Labster into your Blackboard course shell for the upcoming semester. So what to expect today? We're going to be talking about an overview of the integration process. We'll be talking through a Labster support overview, talk through Labster best practices, how you can set your students up for success with Labster. We will go through a Blackboard demonstration of how you will upload the common cartridge or the zip file to your course that will actually install all of the Labster content right into your Blackboard course shell. At the end, I will open it up to questions. So if anyone has specific questions about their course or any questions in general, whether that be related to the simulations themselves or the integration, please do not hesitate to put those in the chat, and I will be addressing those at the end of the webinar here today. But yeah, really what to expect once your order form has inside. The first step of the integration is what we call the LTI integration. That is something that we generally need to complete with your Blackboard administrator. So we will need to first send a set of consumer and secret keys to your administrator. Once we get the LTI set up, we now are at this step of the process where we will be able to upload the common cartridge right into your course. Like I said, if you are not sure where you are in the process, feel free to put any of those questions in the chat. We can make sure that we reach out to your IT team as quickly as possible to get that step of the process completed. Once that LTI is set up, we are then able to do what I'm going to show you today, which is upload that zip file right into your course. But first, I really just want to talk through the support and resources that we have available to you here at Labster. If faculty or students run into any issues, we want to make sure we get those technical concerns or questions addressed as quickly as possible. So we do have a support staff available to you. Now I'm just going to quickly show you where you can find that support. That support is actually available. You'll see that it is available actually on our main website. It is also available here on the faculty resource page. So we are fully staffed from 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern time. So hopefully that covers really all the hours that your students are going to be playing the simulations. Unless they are up in the middle of the night playing a simulation, we will, in those cases, get back to them first thing in the morning. You can really start a chat request and send us a message through here. All the student would have to do is put their email address and then a description of the issue. I recommend being as detailed as possible, providing the course name, the instructor, and exactly which simulation that is causing the student's difficulty. That will give our support team the best chance to resolve the issue as quickly as possible. So it is great. I just talked to our support team last week, and they stated that they can give your students average response time of about 3 to 5 minutes. As long as they reach out during these hours, we have been able to reach our students quicker than ever now with our upgraded support staff. So we do encourage, if a student does reach out to you throughout the semester with any technical concern, we do recommend that you direct them right to our Labster support staff, because they are here, to help your students. And you'll see that this chat support is also available on the loading screen of every simulation. So your students, once we get everything integrated for you, your students will not actually have to go anywhere else. They will be able to start a chat support right from Blackboard as well. So right from that loading screen on the simulation, you'll see this chat bot. So we try to really make support as available to your students as possible. So if they do have any issues, please reach out to us. I'd just like to mention that this chat support is also available to faculty. I'm hoping that your main point of contact, like myself or one of the other representatives of Labster, should be able to help you and you won't have to go through this main chat support. But like I said, if you do, have any questions regarding the integration, please reach out to your implementation main point of contact. And always do not hesitate to reach out to us with any questions. That's what we are here for. And we will always be happy to help. So please do not hesitate to reach out. But initially, kind of to mitigate those technical issues and to kind of ensure, students do not run into those technical concerns in the first place, we do have a set of Labster best practices available for your students. We do have the first step is ensuring that the device your student is using meets our minimum system requirements. So that is ensuring that it meets the memory and processor requirements. And I will make sure to go a little more into depth into that in just a few moments here. But the main, essential piece to remember is that Labster simulations are not yet compatible on iPads, smartphones, and tablets. I'm hoping that will be something in the future that we do add. Currently, they are only available on either a desktop or a laptop computer. The other pieces that are essential are that your student has a strong Wi-Fi connection and that they use the most updated version of either Mozilla Firefox or Google Chrome. So we do recommend always checking that your browser is as updated as possible. That will give the student the best possible experience, as Labster is a browser-based software. The other pieces to mention, and I know we're all kind of guilty of these mistakes, having a multitude of tabs open, running multiple programs in the background. The key piece is to really limit those background programs, to ensure that students don't get frustrated when they try to launch the simulations. We really want to ensure that Labster is the only tab open in the browser if possible. So really just closing out all other background programs and just having that Blackboard core shell open up when you are ready to play the simulations. That will allow the simulations to launch quicker and kind of prevent, issues within the simulation. But like I said, if errors do occur, the key piece is that you can first kind of clear your cache, do basic Labster troubleshooting, and then contact support. So the key piece, just want to quickly go into these minimum system requirements for us. So this is something that I definitely recommend posting on your Blackboard course page, is these minimum system requirements. This will allow your students to know exactly, whether their computer will be able to run the simulation. They can check the memory and processor just to ensure that they are all good to go for their upcoming assignments. So I definitely recommend posting this to your Blackboard course page so all of your students, know whether their device can launch the simulation. But if a student ever has an issue launching a simulation, they can contact our support team. Ugo, who is the head of our support team, awesome to work with. We'll always do everything we can to make sure the simulations work for your student. So we do, like I said, encourage you to reach out if there are any issues. But kind of posting this proactively should help the students have the best possible experience. Yeah, really what I want to get into next is I just want to get right into how you will actually integrate this into your course. So let's get right into it. The first piece to highlight is, I know probably a lot of the faculty on this call are already familiar with this faculty resource page, but this faculty resource page, every professor that I work with, I do recommend that they bookmark this page. As an instructor, if you're ever unsure of where to go with Labster, I would recommend going right to this faculty resource page, as it does have an abundance of resources, and also really is a good home page for you to get started with Labster at any point. the first piece to mention is the simulations tab, which you can actually look up any of our content at any point. It will automatically update as well as we add more content. So you can always check on this page if you are interested in, adding more content throughout the semester. But really the key piece I like to mention about this page is that there are videos on all the simulations. The reason why this will be very helpful for you throughout the semester is if you ever have a student that gets stuck within the simulation, you are able to navigate to this faculty resource page, go to the exact point in the simulation. So if I had a student that was stuck at 54% in the acids and bases simulation, I could go to this faculty resource page, actually see where they're getting stuck, see if there's a procedural part of the simulation that they're getting stuck in, and actually provide my student insight on how to proceed. So this faculty resource page will be helpful for you to connect with these students with the simulation. And then the other piece is to note is that you can actually download a PDF of all the quiz questions. So if you do actually want to see, the quiz questions that your students are being asked throughout the simulation, you can download a PDF of these quiz questions, and you will be able to see, which I will cover a little later on. The Labster dashboard will contain all your student scores, so you will be able to check, exactly where your students are getting stuck. The next piece is you can, which I do recommend also sharing with your students, is these theory pages. These will kind of help you build a lesson plan around the simulations. So if you want to see the basic concepts that are being covered in each simulation, you can go into more depth here with the theory pages as well. So these theory pages, like I said, may be helpful to build a lesson plan around, and even build your own quiz questions if you would like. The other piece I would mention is this faculty resource page will also tell you this is taking the aggregate score of all the students together. So they, on average, students take 30 minutes for this simulation. We see that, most simulations take around 30 minutes to 1 hour. But this will kind of give you an average time of completion for your students. So you can kind of give them, an idea of how long that homework assignment may take. But yes, really that's kind of the first tab of the faculty resource page. The next page, which I'll just quickly go through, is this teacher resource section. There are some great resources for you as a faculty. You can look at case studies to see how other instructors have actually used Labster in the classroom. There are some great webinars here that I definitely recommend if you do have time to go through. I do recommend going through those webinars if possible. But most important, there also are student resources. These student resources are also very essential. I recommend to every faculty member that I work with to share this page right here. You can actually, I would recommend posting this on your Blackboard page, the student resources section. You can get an overview of Labster for your students and all the resources that are available to them here. But yes, really now kind of going through that tab, this is the tab that you will utilize to add more content into your course. You can go back to this at any time in the semester. So, as I go through this, note that if you don't initially pick all the simulations that you would like to add to your course, you can add those simulations at any time as well. So, if you decide initially, I just want to add a couple simulations, not a problem. Tomorrow I can go and add simulations to my course, or weeks down the line in the semester, I can also always add more content into my Blackboard course show. But once you kind of picked out your simulations and you're ready to go, you can click this Add Simulations to your LMS tab. what this is going to do is bring up a self-service menu for you. You're going to have a menu of all the simulations available to you that you can add into Blackboard. But just for an example, I'm going to pick a few simulations here. The other key piece is that you can actually filter by the specific subject area as well. So if I'm teaching a food science course, I can actually filter any simulations that might be applicable to that course by clicking this drop down here. I can then add these simulations by clicking the plus sign, which is to the right of every simulation. I can click this, and it's going to actually put these over to the right here. And this is actually what I like to call your simulation menu. It will create a nice menu for you, which you can then download as a zip file by clicking this green download button here. The next key piece is choosing Blackboard as your learning management system. You will want to choose Blackboard, and then you can then download this common cartridge file or zip file, which we can also call it. So after I download this zip file, the next step will be actually adding this right into Blackboard. So let me just pull this up for us. So yeah, once I have downloaded that zip file, you are now ready. You can actually just leave that zip file in your downloads. The next step will actually, which I'm going to skip to exactly where we want to get to. The next step will be actually uploading the zip file right into Blackboard. So you can actually do that if you are in your Blackboard course now. You'll see that there is a course management section, and under that you'll see package and utilities. So what you'll do is click package and utilities, and you will see an option that allows you to import that package. So you will click the import package/view logs option. You'll then have the ability to import that zip file that you downloaded onto your computer. You will select that package. I'm going to let the video kind of play over as I talk. We will have the ability to add this right into the content area of your course. In Blackboard, the next thing is Blackboard will actually send you an email once the import has been completed. So you can see here that initially it's going to say, it will first tell you the import is completed. Blackboard should also send you an email as well, indicating that that import has been completed successfully. I'm just going to skip a little bit too exactly. So this is great because you get to see, this is exactly what it will look like in your course. Once the import has been completed, you'll see a folder to the left side menu. You will see a Labster simulation folder that contains all of your content. And then this is where I really want to emphasize to ensure that grades sync over into Blackboard. This is where you will have the ability on the Blackboard side to enable evaluation. So if you are using Labster as a grading tool, you will have the ability to edit each of the assignments and actually choose a point value. So you can see here that first we're going to hit yes on enable evaluation, and then set the points possible. You can also set due dates, and you can also set on the Blackboard side, you can set exactly when these simulations are going to be available to your students. So if you aren't ready to actually, after you complete the integration, whether that be today or later this week, if you aren't ready to actually make the simulations available to your students, you can still integrate and get everything ready to go for your course. You will have the ability to actually hide it from your students as well on the Blackboard side. So Blackboard does make it very easy to, hide this content from your students. The other piece to mention is Labster does run most effectively when you are opening the content in a new window. So you also will want to ensure that you click yes on open a new window as well. Below here, you can also see under standard options, kind of like I was just mentioning, you can select date and time restrictions. So you will have the ability to decide on the exact day that you want to make those simulations available to your students. And then the final step, you'll see that, this link will launch right from Blackboard. You'll see that the simulation just starts loading appropriately. If anyone has questions about their integration, I'm going to open it up to questions soon. But the key piece to remember is that in some cases you will have to apply a license code. That really depends on how the integration has been set up on your end. It may be set up as a site-wide license where all the simulations will just launch automatically after completing the import, or it may be a standard setup where you will have to apply a license code. In those cases, the implementation manager should have communicated that to you. But if you have any questions about the license code, which is the final step of the process, please do not hesitate that. The final piece I'd just like to mention before I open up to questions is that we do have the great resources available for you here, where there is actually full step-by-step instructions as well, and a full guide that walks through kind of the steps I'm showing you today. So you can always use these step-by-step instructions, which also covers updating those simulation settings that I mentioned as well. But yeah, really, I just want to now open it up to questions. So please, if you have any questions at all, I'm going to open up the chat. I'm going to open up the chat now. So if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to put that right in the chat, and I will get to all of your questions. Okay, well, it looks like my screen sharing was paused there, so looks like what I'm going to do is go back through this. I just want to go back through the Blackboard integration for you. So the key piece for the integration is ensuring that you have this faculty resource page available to you. You will then be able to click on the Upload to LMS tab. And like I was talking about before, you will have the ability to choose all the simulations available to your course. So for example, here, I'm just going to choose a few simulations so I can show you. show a few simulations here. The next key piece, we're going to download this Blackboard zip file. And we then will be able to, after we download the zip file, like I was talking about before, we then will have the ability to upload this to your Blackboard course shell. You will see, if you have your Blackboard course open, you'll see this import package / view logs option on the left-hand side. Then we'll want to upload that zip file that you downloaded right onto your computer. What this is going to do is it's going to then place all of your simulations right into your Blackboard course. It will create this, as you can see on the left-hand side, it will create this Labster simulations menu. The next key piece I want to show you is that you can edit. You do want to edit every simulation to ensure that grades sync right into your Blackboard course shell. You will want to set the points possible for each of your simulations, and also you can set the due dates and decide exactly when the simulations will be available to your students. Yeah, and then really, what I do want to go back through is the support and resources that we do have available to you. You can at any time you can reach out to our support team through this chat support. They are available from 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern time. But what I really want to just do is, I do apologize for the beginning technical issues. I do want to open it up to, I'm going to go through all those questions that you do have. I hope that everyone can hear me okay. Okay, and then Jennifer's asking a great question here. If I copy a course in Blackboard, do I have to re-import the Labster cartridge? No, if you are using Labster from past semester, you can actually copy that content into the subsequent semester, and you will be able to utilize that content as well. And I will be happy to follow up with you, right after this webinar as well, and just make sure that everything looks good on your end. And then Laura was asking to import the course cartridge or course package. So in terms of, when you go to this adding simulations button, you can choose to either
implement, you can choose to add one simulation, or you can choose to add a group of simulations. So if I do want to just add a couple simulations, I do have the ability to do so here. Or I can add, a full group of simulations as well. So you do have the ability with this, like I said, I like to call it the self-service menu, that you can come back to this at any time and add more simulations. And then Jennifer is asking a great question that there have been more labs added since the fall. What I am going to do for everyone here today is I am going to I'll make sure to send a follow-up email to everyone here today. Just make sure that you have access to the faculty resource page. If anyone needs access to this page, this is actually, I can send this link to you directly, in Jennifer or anyone else, you will have the ability to add more simulations into your course. So Jennifer, if you do, it sounds like you were provided a common cartridge from last semester. If you actually want to add more content into your course, you do have the ability to go to this faculty resource page and click the add simulations to your LMS button here. And then Jared was asking, and my apologies, Laura, you do want to, I'm going to show you on the Blackboard side exactly the steps. So you do want to click import package / view logs. So rather than clicking the import course cartridge button, you are going to want to click the import package / view logs option. So we pull up this Blackboard course here. You are going to want to click the second option, which is to import package / view logs. That will ensure that this process is completed appropriately. And then Jared is asking, I notice when we upload the lab simulations, it becomes the first thing the students see when they go to access the actual course. So once you actually integrate these simulations into your course, we should have the ability to move those. And Jared, I'd be happy to talk to look into this, follow up with you after this call to look into this. You will have the ability to move these simulations around in your course. It will, by default, it will create this Labster simulations menu with all of your simulations. But if you do, if you would like to follow up, I'd be happy to follow up with you and look if you would like to put in another location in your course. And then Laura is, let me answer your questions. So Laura, if it sounds like what happened is your content was copied over into the subsequent semester, as long as I will be happy to follow up with you right after this call to check on that for you. So Jennifer, to answer your next question, once the labs have been imported to Blackboard, there are all the quiz questions within each simulation. They are built in, so you do not actually have the ability to edit the quiz questions. That is something that our team is working on for the future. However, currently all of the quiz questions that you'll see are built in to each simulation. But you can always see, kind of like I was talking about before, you can always see all of the quiz questions that your students are being asked. You can actually see that through by downloading these PDFs of the quiz questions. I am looking forward to the future when we will have a quiz editor where professors do have the ability to edit all the quiz questions throughout the simulations. Then please, I just want to apologize for the technical issues earlier. If you do have any, if anyone has any other questions, what I am going to do is I do encourage anyone on this call today to reach out to me directly, and I want to make sure that we get the integration done for you as quickly as possible. So if anyone does need direct assistance or needs additional support, please follow up with me right after this call, and I will get to everyone. I'm also going to stay on here if there's any additional questions that I can help address. Laura and Jennifer, please do follow up with me as well if you have additional questions.